Hello everyone, welcome back to Fanblade. This week we are talking pedals. Where do I even begin? I'm in the process of simplifying my gigging rig, and if you've seen the last video you will have seen my stack of PVs. They have played one show, it worked really well, I was very happy with that. But as part of the previous system, I also had quite a selection of pedals. Now, most of them were for the keyboards because I need, sustain pedal, expression pedals, stuff like that. I have a dedicated keyboard pedal board. That's not really going to change, but hardwired into that, I also had a selection of bass pedals. Now, I have quite a selection of bass pedals here. Every single one of these pedals has been on the board at some point. And I'm not going to bore you with the whys and wherefores of all of them. In fact, I just want to simplify things. In fact, I'm throwing 2/3 of these away. I'm just going to show you what works and why I chose it. So this is what I've come up with. This is a bass tube screamer, a Zoom MS60B multi-effect pedal for bass, an ESB multi-drive, and of course a deluxe bass big muff. Now, all of these have been tried and tested. All of these have earned a permanent place on the board, so I'm actually going to build a permanent board around these with cases and latches and stuff. But just to run you through a couple of the things here, this is a little bit unusual. First of all, yes, there's 3 distortion pedals on here. I play a lot of different basses, and different basses react differently with different pedals. Some of them work better than others, but these 3 are the ones that work the best with the most basses. This one is the only one that is not a specific bass pedal, but it is the ESB multi-drive universal overdrive pedal, and it sounds good on basically anything you put through this. Highly recommend it. If you can find one of these, then grab it. They're really, really good. Also worth noting is that the multi-effect is also the tuner on this board, and normally you would put that at the start of the chain, but I have one effect here that really does need a distortion in front of it, and I'll demonstrate. This is the envelope filter. It's the Qtron clone that's built into this thing. It sounds like this. I quite like that sound. I don't use it very often. I usually just click it on for a couple of notes here and there just to add a little bit of extra flavour. But if you run some distortion after it, it gets a bit wild. Like, that's pretty unhinged. That's not really a pleasant sound. However, if you put the distortion before it, it evens out those envelopes and you get a kind of a synth bass sound. Like, that's pretty useful. I like that. I do use that more, maybe more than I should. The other effect that I use this for is actually the rotary speaker simulator, because I play in a Led Zeppelin tribute band, and John Paul Jones recorded the song Heartbreaker by plugging into a Leslie cabinet. And this one sounds like this. If I turn it on. Oh, and I can't really play the riff for copyright reasons, but I will improvise around it. That's pretty close to the sound that's on the record, but if you chuck a bit of a big muff after it, I think that's probably as close as I am ever going to get to the actual sound on the record, and it's good enough for me. And plus, I'm a massive Robert Sledge fan, and I've wanted a big muff for years. There was no way this wasn't going to wind up on the board. Now, there's one other thing I just want to really quickly address, is that there is a certain type of person online who will get really angry when bass players start using pedals. And to those people, I just want to say, my bass rig is 2 keyboard amps. I cannot be killed with conventional weapons. So that is largely what we're doing today, is building a board for this with a lid and a handle and catches and all that fancy stuff. This is a power brick that I was using. I 3D printed this enclosure for it. It's not really ideal, and it's only got 3 connections on it, so I'm going to have to rebuild all of that. But this is pretty much all good to go. I've just got to measure it up and draw a little plan. So there is a box. Everything fits, even with the connections in there. The only reason I've left all these plugged in is because when you take the plugs out, everything squishes together a little bit further, and I sort of just wanted to make sure that I actually had enough space, and I do. However, not all the panels line up perfectly. There's some sort of rough edges. I'm not a cabinet maker. I don't do this professionally, so there's a few sort of mismatched little bits and pieces, but that's why they invented power sanders. I think I will sand the living daylights out of this, make it all nice, and then I'll just get some spray paint on it, because that'll be alright. It is a couple of days later. This thing's had a couple of coats, top and bottom, inside and out. It's had a good chance to dry properly, and now it is time to sort out the power supply and work out what on earth I'm going to do with this thing. So this is not your standard pedalboard power supply by any stretch. In fact, what it is the circuit board out of a standard 9-volt DC adapter. However, I hasten to add, this is a cheap one. This is a really, really cheap one, and this one introduces a lot of buzz into the system. I don't like that. This is a considerably more expensive one, and it doesn't introduce any buzz. It's a high-quality circuit board that's in there. I don't need the C14 plug built into this enclosure because, of course, I've built that into the edge of the box. I'm also not a fan of this daisy chain arrangement that I've got here. I arrived at this because when you buy a daisy chain cable, of course, they give you a massive amount of wire in between each one, and that just gets in the way and just tangles up and looks messy, in my opinion, so I just simply cut them and joined them, and made it look somehow even messier. So, yeah, I'm not going to do that this time. What I'm going to do is simply have the main board going to 2 terminals for positive and negative, and then from there I'm simply going to piggyback 4 individual wires coming off, one to each pedal. I still have the original CAD model for it. I'm going to go do a bit of a redesign on that and make it better. So that's a power supply. Well, for my purposes anyway. Of course, it will need its IEC connector. That'll all get assembled sort of as it goes into the side of the pedal board. I have insulated the crimp connectors because one viewer, Steve Hawker, very correctly pointed out having bare metal exposed while it's live at mains voltage might not be the best idea. You can actually get pre-shrouded crimp connectors, like I couldn't find any, so I just put some heat shrink on. You can also get fully insulated boots that go over the back of these. All of these things are designed so that you don't die. I have left plenty of length on there. That is so that once all this is installed, I can cut these to length appropriately and then install the little 9-volt plugs on the end of those. So yeah, now this is the fun bit. We get to actually put it all together. I am using 3M Dual Lock. This is the king of the Velcro-like products. This is the industrial strength one that you want. This is strong enough that when all of this is assembled, I will be able to pick up the entire board just by grabbing one pedal and lifting. This is strong enough to do that. So, yeah, 3M dual lock, accept no substitutes. I have got hinges, catches, latches, a handle, corner protectors. I've got all the stuff that I need. It's time to assemble a pedal board. This is the fun part. So there it is. Feet on the edge so I can rest it down like that, feet on the bottom so it doesn't slide around on stage for me. I have put the corner protectors on. I've screwed up a little bit. Obviously can't put corner protectors on there, I'll have to move these catches over, but I don't really have time to do that at the moment because I've got a gig to get to this afternoon. And when I get there, I'm just going to lift that off and reveal my pedal board, which I'm very, very happy with. I have even installed a pick holder, because when you're annoying the purists, you may as well do it properly. It is everything that I need out of a pedal board. It is arguably way more than anyone needs out of a bass pedal board, but I think more important is what this actually represents, and it does represent a giant middle finger to the people who would tell you how to play and what you should sound like. That's the message of today. So, yes, thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for subscribing. Annoy someone opinionated while you've got a chance, and I will see you next week, when I think we're actually going to start building a proper build, because it's been a while and I'm getting itchy. So, yes, see ya.